How y'all doing? My name is Octavius Prime here on YouTube. I have been participating in a few protests that's been taking place across the country. I guess you could call me an anti-ICE, anti-Donald Trump. That's what they calling it. I'm just there to support, people that are being oppressed, no matter whether they're white, black, or whatever, and just paying attention to a lot of things that are taking place with the murder of Alex Pretti and Renee Good, and the mistreatment of some of the illegal immigrants. That human rights violations are ensuing and taking place. The rule of law is the rule of law, but we must respect human life at the end of the day, right? So let's get into it. I want to show y'all some of the things that's going on. I know it's like 3 in the morning here on the East Coast, but I saw it and I just have the movement, have the spirit in me, and I want to go live. Hopefully y'all are here to participate. But anyway, this is what happened to Representative Ilhan Omar here in Minnesota at a town hall meeting. She got sprayed with an unknown substance. So I'm gonna show you guys that, and hopefully y'all can give me your thoughts on it. All right.
ICE cannot be reformed. It cannot be rehabilitated. We must abolish ICE for good. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem must resign or face impeachment. I don't.
Let me show y'all. I had to slow it down real slow to catch it. So we're doing this under fair use. And we report the news as well. So I'm going to slow it down.
And DHS Secretary Kristi Noem must resign or face impeachment.
So that's from one angle. I had a better angle also. But yeah, so they sprayed it with... So they put hands on him. Look like he's going to be doing at least... he attacked a federal employee, in her duty or his duty. So, you know what I mean? He's going to be doing at least 10 years fed time at minimum. Plus, who knows what that stuff is. Like, it could be bioterrorism or whatever. But it's turned up. It's cold as hell, you know what I'm saying, in Michigan. And Michigan is off the chain right now. I was just looking at some of the stuff that's taking place in Minnesota. The officers out there looking like, says SEAL Team 6. Guns got the gun got the bulletproof vest, the guns. You know what I'm saying? Look, they got 45-6 sitting up right here. All that. So now they're doing bioterrorism. It could be chemical terrorism. That could be acid. But she wanted to continue doing her speech, regardless of whatnot. But if I'm gonna find the other video because I did have it. It was I thought this was the video, but there's a longer video. You can see her hands shaking. I mean, of course, because it's you don't know what you attack with. That could be acid. It could be urine. It could be anything. Who knows? But she continued to do her speech. I wish she should have listened to the agent that was there to protect her, the bodyguard or whoever he is. But she wanted to continue her speech or whatnot. So Minnesota is turned up. The country's getting turned up behind all this stuff that's taking place. You got gun rights issues when it comes to Alex Pretti. You got, and he's a federal employee, a nurse, a union worker, American-born white man. Let's just be real. So, the country getting turned up. And Trump even joked about Omar. Ilhan, I think. I'll get it together. But you'll see it, so. But we'll watch.
We will continue this. I'm not going to get away with it. No, I don't know what. We love you, Ilhan. Everybody settle down. I'm going to finish my remarks. It is important for me to continue. Here is the reality that people like this ugly man don't understand. We are Minnesota strong, and we will stay resilient in the face of whatever they might throw.
So what she's trying to do is get ICE out of Minnesota. So let's start it from the beginning.
ICE cannot be reformed. It cannot be rehabilitated. We must abolish ICE for good. And DHS Secretary Kristi Noem must resign or face impeachment.
I see that you're saying that it may be a fundraiser. It may, like someone saying a fundraiser in the chat. Another person is saying this is staged. I severely doubt it. Like if you look at the full video, and I'll find it, but you look at the full video, you can see her hands. Her hands are shaking. You know what I mean? So like I'm quick to call out a fraud when I see a fraud, but I don't really feel like it's a fraud right now, y'all.
I don't know.
Oh my God. Oh my God. He's sprayed something on us.
I need a napkin to know nothing.
Hell, it could be one of them weirdos that's just fantasizing about the lady. You know what I'm saying? You know, it gets nasty out there. But
No, we will continue.
No.
We will continue this. I'm not gonna get away with it. We will continue.
No, I don't know what
Everybody settle down. I'm going to finish my remarks. It is important for me to continue. Here is the reality that people like this ugly man don't understand. We are Minnesota strong, and we will
so look at her hands. See her hands right there shaking. So I'm gonna rewind it back a little. Just look at her hands. She's shaking up. Like this real. Like if you ever been in some real intense situations, you trying to keep face and shit. You know, you know, it's gonna be a little shaking up and everything like that or whatever, because you just got a surprise attack. Now, the thing about it, like I said, it could have been acid and she could be disfigured. You know, like some things, when you get hit with certain substances, especially chemical or biological, it just sometimes can feel like water at first, but then, you know, I used to work with muric acid being in construction. You know, first touch your skin, you don't feel too much. And then it starts to burn subtly. And then you could get scarred, burn, you could get chemical burns and stuff like that. So she should have just went on ahead and got medical attention or whatever. And the bodyguard was trying to tell her, like, you need to leave, you know. But I think she stood there for another like 5 to 8 minutes and did a speech or whatever. But I want y'all to look at her hands.
That people like this ugly man don't understand. We are Minnesota strong, and we will stay resilient in the face of whatever they might throw.
You know, everything ain't fake, man. Everything ain't fake, man. Everything ain't fake. Oh, y'all want to see it again with the hands are shaking? All right, let's go back. I'm gonna show y'all some of the stuff Trump had to say. You know, Trump is a troll, man. Like he's like one of these trolls on the internet. Like he think everything funny and shit, though.
We are Minnesota strong, and we will stay.
All right, just look at her hands. Now I'm on OBS. I can blow it up a little bit. All right, so see if I can do it for y'all. Oh, I'm on the wrong one. So just look at her hands. I can't move it right now. So look at her hands. All right.
And we will stay resilient in the face of whatever they might throw.
All right, so y'all see that.
This right here is Minneapolis.
Oh, man. Let me stop that. I don't know what that video is about, so let me turn off the stream capture real All right, y'all can hear me? All right, so we back. So this is Donald Trump making fun of it. Uh, this just happened maybe a few hours ago. So Donald Trump was over there being a clown, you know, talking
I'm going to
shit.
bring that price down. I want to say, let them be rich. But we're strengthening Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac that you've heard about. And in the last 12 months, those institutions have supported over 22,000 Iowa families in purchasing or refinancing and saved over 3,000 Iowa families from losing their homes. We've come out and really helped a lot of people keep your home. And despite a bad Fed chairman, a guy that has no, we call him too late. He's too late. Jerome, too late, pal. He's too late. He wasn't too late before the Democrats on the election, then he was too early. But he wants to keep rates as high as possible. Despite that, we've driven rates down. You know, when you're really good, you can get them down despite everything, because ultimately it just sort of follows nature. Mortgage interest rates are now at the lowest level in 3 years, and new mortgage applications are up 30%. By the way,
All right, y'all. Y'all see bigger paychecks for you Republicans out there, you know, and you Democrats, you know, subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. You know, that's all I'm asking, man. All I'm asking.
well, we have a great Fed chairman. I think we're going to have one. I'll announce it pretty soon. You'll see rates come down. Merry Christmas, everybody, right? Remember that 2016? I ran on, we're going to bring back Christmas. We did. Now they're afraid to suggest it. But they cannot come in unless they come in legally into our country, and we're letting some great people come in. They have to show that they can love our country. They have to be proud. Not like Ilhan, Omar. Did you see that wise guy? You know, she's always talking about the Constitution provides me with the following. You know, the Constitution, she comes from a country that's a disaster. So probably it's considered, I think, the worst. It's not even a country. Okay, it barely has a government. I don't think it does. They're good at one thing, pirates. But they don't do that anymore. You know why? Because they get the same treatment from us as the drug dealers get. Boom, boom, boom. I don't care what ship they're attacking. When they attack, when we say them going in, ping, that's the end of the... It's amazing. You know, I don't know if you know, drugs coming in by water is down 97%.
I still see drug addicts getting high. Okay, so how these drugs are getting in here, they're definitely still getting high, everyone.
And we're trying to find out who the other 3% is, because we consider them the bravest people in the world. Who the hell are the 3%? But it's down 97%, and now we're taking them down on the land. The land is much easier than the sea. You had to do the sea first, but the sea is done. We haven't exactly helped the luxury fishing business, I would say. Would you like to go fishing? No, thank you. I'd rather... Let's go deep sea fishing today. Let's go on a little boat deep sea fishing. Sorry about that. But it's down 97%. We've done a job. I'll tell you, we've made our country.
Well, y'all love y'all some Donald Trump, don't y'all?
The greatest military. We have the greatest military in the world. You know, I rebuilt our military in our first term. And we have the greatest.
We have the greatest military in the world. The greatest.
Military in the world. So you read much about Minnesota, where, unbeknownst to the public, we have brought down crime very substantially in Minnesota. We've taken out thousands of hard criminals, hardened, vicious.
Trump, where are these hard-ass criminals, thousands and thousands, because you drop ICE down there? Where's these thousands? Like, where is, where's, roll call on this shit? Like, where's the fucking... Okay, yeah, we took down a whole Mexican gang or whatever the fuck. Like, where is this shit? But I know in Minnesota they have a lot of they have a large Arab community. That's why you have Ilhan Omar, as a representative. There is a large Arab community, Muslim community, in that area. You know, you see one of the representatives are there, and it's pretty much targeted. You know, let's be real, this shit targeted. Get the Muslims out of here. You know, it's a lot of Sudanese, North Africans. Someone mentioned Ethiopians or whatever. So it's a huge population of Northern Africans and Arabs that live in Minnesota. That's no secret. All right. So, down here we have a lot of Hispanics. We have Haitians, Jamaicans. We have Haitian immigrants that are illegal. We have Jamaicans that are illegal. We have Guatemalans, South Americans, but we have a huge Guatemalan immigrant population. And when you go to Home Depot or Lowe's, they used to stand out in front of Home Depot and Lowe's. So if you needed somebody like help you with your grass or lay your grass out, got pallets of grass, go out there, pay one of the Mexicans like $100 a day or $80 a pop, and they lay your grass out for, right like that. So when you go over there to Home Depot, you don't see them standing outside looking for work no more, So these spots, they getting ISIS coming out to these spots and getting a lot of these people, But like I said, the loss of life and things like that, and then also claiming to be a Republican, Alex Pretti was practicing his First Amendment right, and his Second Amendment right under the Constitution of the United States of America, North Republic, right? And there should be no conflict of interest, practicing both of those rights at the same time. Like I said, being at those protests, it could be some weirdos out there, like that guy that came up and squirted Ilhan Omar with some biological chemical substances and shit like that. You never know. You never know. You don't know what you're going into when you're stepping outside. So I have been out there to a protest. I've been to Black Lives Matter, Trayvon Martin marches, George Floyd, going back to Wall Street. I forgot that name of that shit. So I'm in my 40s. So every little protest, I've been to protests. I don't even know what the hell I was there protesting, whatever. But when it comes down to loss of life, whether white, black, or whatever, I always think it's a great injustice somebody lose their life, especially practicing their First Amendment right, like Alex Pretti, in this situation. And his death is making some changes. And, it's the rule of law. When it comes to immigration, it must be followed. Law should not be broken. I agree with that. But, human dignity and human rights, first, right? So that's the thing. If someone's here illegally, it's nothing that I can do about it. I can't do nothing about it. It's against the law to come to this country illegally. And I have been to the protest myself. Here in West Palm Beach, we got a protest coming up February 2nd at the City Square at City Place on Rosemary Avenue next week. And I'll be there in attendance, and I will be, if you want to see more of that, subscribe to the channel and I'll be reporting on it. So I'm going to let a little bit of this play, and then I'm going to show you some of the things that have transpired over the weekend with Alex Pretti, and also a little bit with Renee Good. But I'm going to show y'all some of this stuff.
Horrible criminals. You don't read about things like Washington, D.C., where there is virtually no crime, and it was horrible a year and a half ago. Memphis, Tennessee, which was a real disaster, and now it's down. Crime has dropped.
Someone said I had the best hairline in the world. I appreciate that, and I didn't even flex that. And I'm in my 40s. That's because I'm part Native American. I got the Native American gene. We don't go bald. So none of the men in my family of the matrilineal bloodline, we don't go bald. So thank you for that genetic code or whatever. So baldness is not in my genetics. So thank you for that comment.
By 78% of the last 2 months. New Orleans, Louisiana. I was asked by the governor of Louisiana to helped them with New Orleans. It was a disaster, and crime is down 54% in about 3 weeks. You don't read about that. And we've done all of this by taking thousands of criminals out of these states. We took over 2,000 people out of Washington, D.C. These were criminals. You know, if you remember, about 2% of the population, it's a very simple business. 2% of the population causes 90% of the crime. So when you start decimating that 2%, boom, that's why we have the, it's an amazing number when you think. It's just crime over and over and over. 2%.
Now, I've been to Washington, D.C. quite a lot. You can look at my YouTube shorts. I have like the Washington Monument. I've been to the White House like at least 4 to 5 times. All right. And first time going there was homeless populations there in front of the White House, in front of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. My first time going there, they had just put the gate up. All right. And it was homeless people all around there. There was tents and things like that. Now, Trump wanted to clean up D.C. And sometimes you'll be riding on the highway going into D.C., going to like Pentagon. I think it's called Pentagon City or whatever. But you'll see sometimes you'll see like the tents in the bushes, in the woods. So Trump didn't want none of that. So he pretty much made it like illegal for people to have the tents in D.C. The homeless it was illegal to be homeless in D.C. So pretty much, I don't know how those people are surviving. But not only that, he cut programs for the homeless. All right? He cut programs for the homeless. And then people could be outside freezing to death, So just think about that. So pretty much they forced a lot of the homeless people out of D.C. It was homeless people all over there. At some points, you'd be walking down the street wearing your polo shirts and polo sweater and everything like that, sipping on your latte or sipping on your cappuccino or whatever. It'll just be some person laid out on the street with a cover, like on the street. To this day, it'll be people, we go downtown D.C., it'll be people laid out on the street sleeping on the ground while business people, politicians walk right past them, So I guess since ICE been there, I haven't been there since ICE been there, because I'm pretty sure they done forced all that kind of stuff out of there. And who knows what those people are now.
Creates 90% of the crime. Isn't that amazing? It's not that complicated, is it? In 1 year, we've achieved the largest drop in the murder rate in the history of our country. Drug overdose deaths are down by 21%, the largest drop ever recorded. We got to do better than that. And I've designated the drug cartels as foreign terrorist organizations. Big deal. And despite the strong efforts of the fake news media, we are starting to see the historic success reflected in tremendous polls. We have great polls. In last week's Rasmussen poll, we're leading among Hispanic voters. We're leading by a lot. Nobody's ever seen a Republican lead among Hispanic voters,
Now, let me tell you all about this. I live in West Palm Beach. I don't live too far from Donald Trump's mansion. And I'm not lying. I've been to Mar-a-Lago at least 15 times myself. I used to work for the gas company. I used to do the gas lines. And in Florida, you can't do any digging without getting approval from, the gas company, the water company, the electric company, if they got any lines buried. And I've been to Mar-a-Lago many times. There's a gas line that runs right in front of, on Ocean Avenue, right there. And some of my most popular shorts are of Donald Trump's home, and I've been there many times. And Donald Trump here in West Palm Beach is like a local hero. He used to be seen going to Texaco on Southern Boulevard. They got pictures of him at certain gas stations back in the 90s and stuff like that. And so a lot of the Cubans, when I was passing out the flyers, so a lot of the Cubans, when they all they had to do is touch ground here in South Florida, they're legal. Period. As long as they able to put a finger on the beach, you know what I'm saying, they're legal. And, you know, we was passing out fines for illegal immigration and all that kind of stuff. Legal, like anti-ICE, just the protest about even the death of Alex Pretti. They ain't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them didn't care. You know what I mean? They didn't care. You'd be amazed. And some of us, like, they supported all kinds of shit. So even amongst the Hispanic communities, you can see a difference in politics, a tremendous difference in politics when it comes down to where they're from and who's affected and who's not. So for a lot of people that don't feel affected or whatnot, you know, like they taking no action. Even a lot of the Black Americans, you go to the protest, they're not there. You know, it was me and a black man that's wearing a rainbow shirt at the protest, right? And you know, a lot of nice people that was there. I'll put it like that. And to be honest, it was the majority were white Americans that were there. And and the other majority was Hispanic, of course. All right. And but I'm gonna get into that, and I want to talk about American politics when it comes down to being African American. I talked to a few friends. They were saying they were tired of protesting, or tired of this and tired of that. Like, we always have to represent dignity, life, fairness, you know what I mean, at any point, at any given point. So I want to stand up as a person that right now I'm not being affected by ICE at all. But this is a law enforcement agency that has boots on the ground, that has higher authority to arrest you than your local police do. Okay? And you'll get more charges, you'll do more time. If one of those people decide to snatch you up and just by suspicion think that you're an illegal immigrant, you may have left with water home or whatever, you don't have your papers. And next thing you know, you're sitting in some concentration camp, you know what I mean, hoping that you could get to see a judge at some point. All right? Because someone can mistake you for a non-American. All right? And that could be American people have been snatched up as well. So I'm going to play this and we'll get into
Hispanic voters don't want crime. People don't realize that. Hispanic voters want strong borders because they know what's coming in and they don't want them. They're great. They've been great. We did so great in the election with Hispanic voters. We did so great with black men. We did so great with white everything. In yesterday's RMG poll, a clear majority of Americans support our deportation policies by a margin of 10%. Now, I don't know why 10%, because I don't think it's even, I mean, wouldn't you say like 100%?
Hold on, someone said that I'd never been to Mar-a-Lago. All right, so let me show you then, since you don't believe me. You know, I live right next to Palm Beach. All right, so this is my page right here. And guess who this is? That's Sylvester Stallone right there at the local Publix, okay, in Palm Beach. That Publix is the closest grocery store to my house, okay? So this is Sylvester Stallone spotted in Publix in Palm Beach.
All right, I'm gonna go check it. Why don't you stay here?
All right, so that's Sylvester Stallone. All right, and
What's your name?
this is Mar-a-Lago.
What's your name?
Name.
That's Mar-a-Lago right there. So you're saying that I can't take this guy seriously no more. He said he's been to Mar-a-Lago. I was a construction worker over there for a few years in Palm Beach. My father even did the molding inside of Mar-a-Lago as a plasterer, as a cornishman. Been to Mar-a-Lago. Okay, I've worked there 3 times. Okay, before he was president, even that.
Now,
that's Trump. That's Trump's home in Palm Beach, and that's not the only one I have. Okay, this is this Ocean Avenue right there. You got the American flag right there. Okay, that's me riding by. That's one of the times I rode by there, just to get it on camera because there's no sidewalk in front of his home. All right, so if you try to go there, they're going to wonder why you even over there because there's no sidewalk on Ocean Avenue at that point. So you really just kind of like, you could get arrested or get a ticket just for walking in the street. All right, there's bicyclists that go by there all the time. That's the only way you can go by there by car or bicycle. Okay. So let me take that down. In. That's one of the times. Yeah, so all the yachts and stuff like that. Yeah, we've been there many times. Here's another one. Here's another. That's me and my Ford F-150. All right.
The total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what
the total.
All right, so that's me going by there again. That's when I used to work over there. That's when I recorded that. All right. So, can you take me seriously again, brother? Can you take me seriously again? All right. All right, so let's go back.
Sir, was Mr. Pretti?
All right, so they talking about Alex Pretti right here. Since we proved all things. All right. Talking about Alex Pretti. So let's look at Donald Trump's take on it. He even said in this clip, he was saying that if he could, he would actually do the investigation himself in the death of Alex Pretti. Okay, and they asked him about the gun, but he said you can't have guns. And I thought we're supposed to be Second Amendment and all that shit.
Acting as an assassin. Do you think he was acting as an assassin in Minneapolis?
who is that?
Mr. Pretti, your deputy chief of staff said that. You don't think so?
With that being said, you can't have guns. You can't walk in with guns.
What about the Second Amendment?
Listen, you can't walk in with guns. You can't do that. But it's just a very unfortunate incident.
What about the Second Amendment, sir?
We'll work something out.
Hey, just a minute.
So the NRA has spoken against that, saying, hold up, there is some Second Amendment issues with that. So there's a lot of Republicans that are now speaking out about the issue when it comes down to the Second Amendment issue. All right. So I'm going to go over here.
Details tonight provide the clearest official account yet of the fatal shooting of Alex Pretti. He is the second U.S. citizen killed by a federal agent in Minneapolis this month. Now, according to a government report sent to Congress, 2 Border Patrol agents fired their weapons during the shooting. CBS News correspondent Ian Lee is live in Minneapolis for us. Now, Ian, walk us through the new details in this report.
Yeah, and there are some key details here. As you pointed out, 2 agents shot their firearms. But what we're getting is a picture of how everything unfolded, how Pretti, was confronting these agents and how that unfolded and how they were trying to arrest him. There was shouts that he has a gun and then about 5 seconds later, that's when those shots ring out. What's interesting in this report is they don't mention at all Pretti reaching for a gun or using his gun. They also mention
pushing
how
people
the
and shit,
agents
spraying
then stored the gun in the car afterwards.
Did y'all see that?
They
out there just pushing people and just spraying your ass with mace and shit. Like, you know what I mean? Just walking up to you. And you know the thing about it, you lay your, like, you just do a reaction, like trying to push back a little bit. Oh, resisted arrest, assaulting an officer and shit. Motherfucker pushing you down on the snow and pepper spraying your ass. It's sub-zero weather. I mean, they ratchet as hell up there. But I mean, let's look at that again. Hold up.
Reaching for a gun or using his gun. They also mention how the agents then stored the gun in the car afterwards. The agent said he had it, he cleared it. And so there are a lot of questions right now, especially because right after the shooting, we heard from the Homeland Security that these were defensive shots. And this report seems to contradict that at the moment.
Now, Ian, this report was based on a preliminary review of body camera footage from those Border Patrol officers. What other details are we learning about the evidence in this investigation, and who exactly has access to it?
So there's a lot of questions right now about the gun that Pretti had after the incident. Questions about chain of command. Was it photographed after the incident? Collecting evidence. There's a lot of questions about if it was done properly. And so that is going to be scrutinized. You know, Minnesota officials, local and state, they want to be part of these investigations. That's something we've heard from the governor. We've heard it from the mayor. And a judge even ruled that all evidence that is gathered in the aftermath of Pretti's killing needs to be maintained. It cannot be destroyed. And so there's a lot of questions about if there can be an impartial investigation into the killing. Minnesota believes that really can't be done without their cooperation.
Ian Lee.
Yeah, I pretty much, now this is like Trump, you know, shifting after talking about the man was like, you know, walking around with the gun and shit like that. So let's look at what they got to talk about with that. And I'll get up out of here.
I shake up teams. Everybody here, these are a lot of owners of farms and places, and you shake up your team. If they can't do the crops fast enough, they go, look, we have an incredible team. We did something that nobody said was possible. We didn't go back to Congress and ask for legislation. We closed the border, and in the last 8 months, they have, and this is actually hard to believe, nobody crossed the border.
In Bovino's place, the president sending in border czar Tom Homan, who met with local officials today, including Governor Walker. The White House also says it plans to reduce the number of Border Patrol agents in Minneapolis. The shifts in the administration's strategy come amid a major backlash among Democrats and a growing number of Republicans. 12 Senate Republicans are now calling for an independent investigation.
For MAGA out there, for all you MAGA people out there, you got to see that these Republicans, I don't know if y'all going to label them traitors. You even got Republican Rand Paul, and I don't know. I mean, he talked like he, but I don't know. I think he's, I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know. So I'm gonna let y'all be the judge of these things. All right. But it looked like, you know, there's a lot of Republicans that are shifting away from the you know, the understanding, you know, that a lot of MAGA people share or whatnot. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and play it and everything like that because I am going to talk about the Second Amendment and the First Amendment and the Second Amendment as well. But I want y'all to look at the list of the Republicans that are calling for GOP senators calling for investigation into Petty's killing. Okay, Pretti killing. Okay, so let's
into Pretti's killing, with some Republican governors now also speaking out.
We need to have respect for law enforcement officers.
No, like somebody said Rand Paul is a Democrat. Damn. Y'all ain't shit. I'm just starting getting back into politics. I was like, it's getting exciting because I got bored with a lot of other stuff on YouTube and all that other stuff. So I'm getting back into it, and it doesn't change, you know. So like, damn, Rand Paul is not that radical for y'all. God dang. All right, well, you know, I'm gonna look and I'm gonna find out. I have been absent from the body, but I'm back.
Officers in the country, ICE, they are law enforcement officers.
Listen to that. Check. You said ICE, they are law enforcement. We need to have respect for the law enforcement officers in this country. ICE, they are law enforcement officers. They are not just there for the illegals or whatever. They're federal law enforcement officers. I want y'all to understand that that's a new police force on the ground that has the power to arrest you just like your local police. It's a federal police agency. Would you walk up to a federal marshal? For those that ever been to a federal building, they'll check you down and talk to you aggressive and everything. You got to pull out your ID. If you don't pull out your ID, they're looking at you sideways. They treat you with all kinds of suspicion. And if you buck up to them, you know, you're going to find yourself arrested. All right. So these ICE are law enforcement officers. I know that y'all say y'all are against big government or whatnot. You know, we're supposed to reduce government encroachment into the lives and privacies of citizens here in the United States of America, North Republic. But we have a new law enforcement group of officers that are here, and they're not just going to disappear after they take care of the immigrants. No, they're going to be on the ground. Okay. Now, I saw this when I was in Juno Beach up in Jupiter Island and everything like that. I was up there in Jupiter Island. I live in Palm Beach County. So me and my girlfriend, we went up to Jupiter Island, and for whatever reason, there was zero Hispanics up there. It went up but black people, white people, and a bunch of ICE agents all along that beach. I don't know why, but that's just how it, whatever reason, if you go to like Jupiter Island and you go to the beach, you just look, you just ride down that I don't know if that's A1A or whatever it is, but ride down that highway or that road along the beach, and you're gonna see a lot of ICE officers, and they're pretty much like there all the time. I don't know why, but let me go ahead and play this. But I want y'all to see what Governor Greg Abbott has to say about these things. Okay.
And so they, being the White House, need to recalibrate on what needs to be done to make sure that that respect is going to be reinstilled. And that's not an easy task, especially under the current circumstances. But I know that they're working on a game plan to make sure that they are going to, let's say, recalibrate and maybe work from a different direction to ensure that they get back to what they wanted to do to begin with. And that is to remove people from the country who are here illegally.
I think the death of Americans, what we're seeing on TV, it's causing deep concerns over federal tactics and accountability. Americans don't like what they're seeing right now. You know, we believe in federalism and state rights, and nobody likes feds coming into their state. And so what's the goal right now? Is it to deport every single non-U.S. citizen? I don't think that's what Americans want.
That criticism from governors.
A lot of Americans believe that's what they want. I'm going to be real with you. Okay. A lot of Americans, you know, when you go outside, you pass out flyers about some of the issues that's going on. And a lot of people don't understand about what he just said about, let me rewind that, about states' rights. All right. That's what I was just talking about. Big government, small government, government encroachment, things like that. A libertarian point of view of things. So let's listen.
Americans don't like what they're seeing right now. You know, we believe in federalism and state rights, and nobody likes feds coming into their state. And so what's the goal right now? Is it to deport every single non-U.S. citizen? I don't think that's what Americans want.
That criticism from governors comes as new polling shows approval of the president's immigration policy has fallen to its lowest level since his return to the White House a year ago, as he also wrestles with low approval on the economy and the cost of living. The issues he's expected to make his focus when he speaks in Iowa.
Want to win me over, bring down the cost of bread and eggs. All right? And, do that.
This hour. Now, joining me is Gabe, let me begin with you. And what can you tell us about how the president has processed these events and how they've unfolded, the reaction to it, and these changes he's making? What stands out to you?
Well, Kelly, this has been a dramatic shift in tone over the last several days, as you've mentioned. And according to a senior administration official, the president was shuttling between the Oval Office and his private dining room here at the White House on Saturday, watching the news coverage unfold. And according to this official, he grew increasingly disturbed by the violence that he's been seeing on the ground in Minneapolis. And this official adding that the president doesn't like to see chaos under his watch. And so fast forward through Monday morning when you heard the president make that announcement that he was sending Border Czar Tom Homan to take over operations in Minneapolis. Yes, this is a significant shift in tone. And this comes after top advisors to the president, including his deputy chief of staff, Stephen Miller, and also officials with the Department of Homeland Security had made several assertions on Saturday that it appeared not to have been borne out by the video evidence so far made public. You just heard the president, disagreeing with some of his top officials in terms of the characterization of Pretti, who was shot. So certainly this has been a significant change over the last several days, and the White House now shaking up this leadership with that soundbite you just played from the president. President saying that he can shake up his team if they're not getting the job done, essentially, Kelly.
Let's take a look at some more of what the president said today. This was our first chance to see him on camera extensively asking and answering questions from reporters about the shooting. So let's look and get a sense of what the president says here as he was.
I'm going to skip ahead so we get right to it. So we're doing fair use, so I don't want to use the whole thing.
He was acting as an assassin in Minneapolis.
Who is that? No, not as an adult. With that being said, you can't have guns. You can't walk in with guns. You just can't. And you can't, listen, you can't walk in with guns. You can't do that. But it's a very unfortunate incident. Yeah.
So notable there, Gabe, of course, he is distancing himself from Stephen Miller's comments that painted Pretti as an assassin. And then also at the same time, he's taken some resistance from notable gun rights groups, the NRA and others, about the claims that he and now others in the administration have made about you're not supposed to have a gun at a protest, which, of course, is in conflict with the Second.
That's what I was pretty much telling y'all about. The NRA is not in alignment with the president saying that statement, because if you think about it, we always have to be vigilant about our constitutional rights, even the Second Amendment. I know a lot of I'm taking more of a liberal stance on things that's going on with what's going on in America right now. I'm an independent, so I do believe in the protection of all constitutional rights. I do believe in that. I do believe in the Second Amendment. So, the thing is, if you're out there, you do have access to protect yourself and your law-abiding citizen, especially at of age of 30 plus years old. You haven't been in trouble with the law. You should be able to assist law enforcement and protect other protesters. And just in case there's a terrorist out there with an AR-15 that want to gun people down, and that type of stuff has happened. Okay. You had a protest and you have nothing to protect yourself with. So, somebody is, from my opinion, Alex Pretti seems like a person that, if I was out at a protest, I wouldn't mind him being next to me, just in case a terrorist do come out there and try to harm me if I'm outside, or if I don't have my gun and he got his or whatever, he got his head straight on right or whatnot. So, these having your protection with you, can prevent a lot of loss of lives, especially in the right hands. But in this case, It's not as simple as, oh, he got a gun. You know, he had every right to have it, you know, according to the law.
Amendment. What is your sense of how the president is walking that line and how it may be drawing further criticism?
You know, Kelly, it's very interesting. The president said that today and also doubled down on that again in the event just a few moments ago in Iowa, saying he didn't like it that Pretti had a gun. Certain members of his administration have had to clean up their comments from earlier in the weekend. The FBI director, Kash Patel, reiterating his commitment to the Second Amendment after making some initial comments suggesting that that protester should not have had a gun. But certainly you addressed this in your question, Kelly. The NRA, other gun rights groups don't like to hear that kind of language, that while the protester, according to the administration, they argue he may have been trying to impede law enforcement. These gun rights groups, they argue, well, that may be the case, but you can't tell Americans not to show up anywhere with a gun if they are legally allowed to do so. And Pretti, by all indications, was a legal firearm owner. So while members of the administration have tried to kind of clean up those comments and stress that they do believe in the Second Amendment, the president today coming out and saying that he does not think Pretti should have had a weapon at that protest, Kelly.
There'll be more to hear about that, I'm sure. Thank you, Gabe. We appreciate it. And all the questioning you've been doing of the administration on this as well. Let's turn now to Morgan, who is in Minnesota, to get a sense of what the reaction on the ground is now that people are learning about this shift in the administration.
So one of the things I want y'all guys to learn, if you want to know more about how the news and politics work, everything should be guided by the constitutional, the federal Constitution, the United States Constitution. You got to pretty much get familiar with what's in there, you know, as far as what the constitutional rights are. And then you could pretty much know the limitations, and then you can know sometimes the motivation of each space, whether they're right, left, independent, or whatnot, moderate, you know, every political, pretty much almost all political organizations in non-for-profit, profit, whatever, they all want to argue a political stance based on the Constitution at the root of it. All right. So Pretti's death is not just a death of a person, a protester for ICE, anti-ICE protester. It is also now morphed into a Second Amendment argument, all right? Protection of citizens and their right to bear arms, especially a law-abiding citizen. His right to bear arms is registered, it's legal, and things like that. So that way you can get a full understanding now is how it's impacting, it's morphing beyond anti-ICE violent protest or immigration. His death is more of a transformative type of argument now due to the gun rights. And also he was also a federal employee, a nurse, if I think I'm being correct about it. He was also and he also worked for the VA. So Monday night they had a vigil for him here in West Palm Beach, or here in Lake Worth, here in Palm Beach County, to honor his passing or whatever. So, you know, it touches a lot of different aspects. Him being part of a union, being a nurse, being a federal employee, gun rights activist, the abuses that the ICE has been taking part in against citizens in Michigan. Okay, so it's bigger than just, you know, that. So now death is involved, and also we have to throw in the fact that he is a American. Okay, and the way they say that, he's a white man. Okay, and also if you look at the original constitutions for like places like Florida where I live, it is against the law. It is part of the Constitution that every white man over the age of 21 must have a firearm. Like this in the law. It's an original Constitution here in Florida. And most states, Western bound states, Midwest states, and their original constitutions have those type of wordings there. So this is at the core of federal constitutional rights and even state constitutional rights. Okay.
And how they're going to change up the staffing. Is that easing concerns? What are people telling you?
Yeah, Kelly, great question. I think it's too early to say that there's any cautious optimism here. I think there's more curiosity and even a little apprehension just because of what this community has witnessed over the last several weeks here, seeing the killing of Renee Good on the streets of Minneapolis, reacting to that, and then to have that followed several weeks later by the shooting of Alex Pretti, not far from where I'm standing, which now led to this growing memorial, just created a sense of sadness, of anger and frustration. And so with the people that I've spoken to today who have come to pay their respects to Pretti, they are looking at this leadership change with ICE operations, and they certainly are acknowledging on one hand that it appears to be a shift. They are well aware of the conversations that Homan's having with Governor Tim Walz and Mayor Jacob Fry today, but they are waiting to see what happens now in the next few days, in the next few weeks, to see if this, what they called kind of an environment of fear that has pervaded this area, continues to do so. One woman telling me that she knows of friends who aren't letting their children go to school because they're concerned of the ICE raids here. Others, businesses keeping their doors locked and operating in a come up and knock basis, hoping that that would protect.
And you got to also understand, just for any American, no matter what you are, when that type of pressure is on the street where there's people being murdered, there's thug life, ICE police on the ground, and there's like people being shot and murdered on the street. You got to think about your kids. You got to think about what could happen, things like that. So, these type of things, and pretty much Alex Pretti death is showing that anybody can get it. Anybody can get it. Okay, anybody can get popped. So just understand that, y'all.
Protect them from a potential ICE warrant, so that even if you're not directly affected by that, the degree of separation here is very minimal. And I think that's why we've seen such a collective response, a pushback rather, against the activities here by federal agents. Kelly.
And are you getting a sense, Morgan, that people on the street are more or less willing to take out their phones and take video of these interactions? Is there a sense that they know those videos made a critical difference, or they might draw the attention of ICE?
All right, so I want to say this. I have a battery pack. Oh, let me do this. So y'all be able to hear me. All right, so I have a battery pack. I'm just come off camera real quick. So I'm gonna get the battery pack. Let's show y'all my battery pack real quick. All right.
Is there a sense of how people are feeling about showing up and being on the street? Is it too risky, or is it something they feel an even greater responsibility to do?
They certainly don't feel discouraged to do so, particularly in light of the multiple angles that captured that fatal encounter with Alex Pretti.
About showing up and being on the street, is it too risky, or is it something they feel an even greater responsibility to do?
They certainly don't feel discouraged to do so, particularly in light of the multiple angles that captured that fatal encounter with Alex Pretti, giving not one, not two, but half a dozen views of him being taken to the ground by federal agents and then shot repeatedly. I asked that very question, to people here the other day when you watch.
I was on a tirade. Y'all should have let me know. All right. So anyway, so like I was saying, I was changing the scene, but I was just saying this right here. No worries. We back on it. Thank you for letting me know there was no sound justice. All right. So this right here, this is a battery pack. So if you're outside and you're outside protesting, you're doing anything, carry this with you. Most definitely. You can charge your headset. You can charge your cell phone. This right here can charge 4 iPhones. Probably like 3.5 nowadays, or 2.5. But it can charge your iPhone multiple times. I barely got to charge it. I thought I charged it one time. But if I'm going to a protest, I'm going to charge it up. And I'm going to make sure that I'm streaming to some platform, whether it's Instagram, even if it's a backup YouTube page or whatever. Even if it's some ratchet stuff going on, you go to X, Twitter, whatever, get that stuff recorded, because if you out there, and like I said with Alex, y'all didn't hear me, but when Alex, if there was no video of Alex, okay, if there was no video of Alex being shot, and if it wasn't on camera, they would be saying that man was probably some kind of domestic terrorist, in my opinion. So they're going to look out for the officer first, okay? And that ain't no slight to nothing. This is just reality. So if you do have it where you got video evidence, that helps out a lot for your family, for whatever that you got going on, okay? You don't want to be labeled a terrorist just because you're trying to practice your First Amendment right, or even in his case, his First and Second Amendment right. So get one of these, have your phone charged. Make sure your phone charged before protest even starts. Okay, record. Even if your arm gets sore, have that thing up there, record every time. Every time I go out and I participate with anything, I haven't done it in a while, but before I even had a YouTube page, I had videos going back to Black Lives Matter marches where I was there. And sometimes I'm not even camera ready. I wasn't camera ready back then. Okay, but I don't care. I'd rather have myself on camera or the events on camera, so that way I don't have an issue where I'm shot. And trust me, when the police officers see you with a camera phone in your hand, it means a lot to them. Okay? because they don't know if you stream it to Instagram. They're gonna be on their best behavior when they know that they're being watched. Okay, because sometimes their camera is not working. Okay, it's not working when yours is not working, and that's just the reality of things. Okay, so have your stuff charged. Sometimes bring 2 cell phones if you can, but don't go out there naked. All right, have your camera phone on.
Well, they certainly don't feel discouraged to do so, particularly in light of the multiple angles that captured that fatal encounter with Alex Pretti, giving not 1, not 2, but half a dozen views of him being taken to the ground by federal agents and then shot repeatedly. I asked that very question, to people here the other day. When you watch these videos, what did you see take place? Someone said murder, another said an execution, and even in sub-zero temperatures, not today, but in days prior, that certainly didn't appear to significantly discourage some people from coming out. We know that within Minneapolis, Kelly, there is an organized system of communication on the activities of ICE agents. I haven't had a chance to speak to them personally, but that almost operates as a separate entity from some of the demonstrations, some of the protests that we've seen in and around this area. But there is certainly no relief here just yet. Too early for that. Very much a wait and see because these folks have now been going on 3 weeks of an anxious feeling of fear and in some cases almost hopelessness whenever they hear federal officials say that Alex Pretti approached these agents with a gun, and then they can see multiple videos contradicting that entirely. Kelly?
Morgan, thank you.
Okay, now we saw the video. I think it's in this. Let me see. We just saw the video. Well, we saw the video of the killing, okay? But anyway, you can see that was not, he did not run up on the agents as they were. So I want y'all to understand they're gonna make it where the officers are innocent at first. This is the reality of things. So I want y'all to listen to what he said about that, so we can catch that check. All right,
3 weeks of an anxious feeling of fear and in some cases almost hopelessness whenever they hear federal officials say that Alex Pretti approached these agents with a gun, and then they can see multiple videos contradicting that entirely.
So if you look at the video of the shooting, you don't see him like running up on it, approached him with a gun, like, don't, you know what I mean, pulling it out and like, hey, what's up? You know what I'm saying? None of that happened. And the man background is a nurse. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying he a saint. I don't know him like that. But he's a nurse. He's a white man that's not affected by immigration, as far as I know. Okay? He's an all-American white man. You know, he's a nurse. So this is not, he doesn't fit the bill of that type of person that just walk up, they just pull out guns and just try to kill federal agents. Okay?
Kelly?
Morgan, thank you so much, and we'll stay in touch with you as people get a sense of, are these changes something that they can feel, or is it something that's going to need time to play out? So we thank you for that. I'm going to turn now to Ryan Riley and tell us what you are getting a sense of. We know that Greg Bovino left Minneapolis today. He had been the commander of Border Patrol, who was positioned there for a long time, drew a lot of controversy. Now Tom Homan is in charge. Is it clear to you how operations in Minneapolis could change, what it would look like under Homan versus Bovino?
Yeah, with Bovino, I mean, it was not only, you know, as you pointed to, his actions on the streets there, but he was also getting into fights on social media with sitting members of Congress, which was kind of extraordinary. He had this sort of...
Now, I want y'all to watch this. Now, look at him. Like, he got, like, the can, and, like, look at the people. Now, the people are, like, far away from them. But check it out.
You know, role that was...
Like, this is like some, like, SEAL Team 6 shit right here with the federal agent. Dude got the ninja mask on with the shades. He's looking like he's some kind of like, you know, like on some, like he look like he belong on Predator or some shit like that, or But anyway, he got look like he got 2 9mm sitting on his chest right there. Extra ammo, everything, right? So just look at the agent in the front. Look at he got the can of mace right there. He's just finna just throw it in the fucking crowd.
Him,
like,
in this structure, it was not a position that existed before. And obviously getting in.
Look at him. Look at that. Now look at it. And look at the look on his face. You mother suckers. Look at his face, bro. And now this is real life. This is like people. Like, this is the sad part about this is real life. This is not like we just watching this on some movie or something like that. But look at the into he gritting his teeth at people, finna throw, the gas cans at people and stuff. So, but I've been places where things get where the police is like fighting the people, and that's not a good place to be. Because things started to get thrown around. The police start getting amped up. They start throwing out tear gas, everything like that. The best thing to do is just back away. Just slowly back away. Get out of the vicinity. Because either it's gonna be some tear gas, gunfire, and the police, they get amped up. They get defensive, and they start just acting like raving animals on people. Okay. Check.
In addition to those actions on the streets, a lot of the rhetoric that he's.
So, yeah, look at that. All right. So these are the citizens. They got all this tear gas or whatever that is out there, just being thrown around. All right. And like all of this is taking place while it's like cold as hell. It's cold in Florida. It's like 48 degrees for us. That is freezing. We are dying down here. Okay. But I mean, in Michigan, y'all are acting ratchet. Like everybody's acting up down there. It's like you would think it's like summertime. Okay, you think it's like Miami or something like that, where everybody wearing shorts, they hot and aggravated. But I don't know.
Been using about this, including instantly labeling the officers who killed the victim in this case as the victims, and the victim as some sort of suspect. I think.
And if you're at a protest, you'll see when you see the officers, they'll come up and they'll just start pushing you. They'll just start pushing you. You know what I mean? Just get out of their way, because if you do anything bad or you try to like tap them or like just on some defensive, normal shit, you can get your ass beat, arrested, or even shot and killed. Okay? When they get mad like that, just get the hell out of the way. Just get the hell out of the way. You see how the other guy, the one guy, he walking down, see, he's a citizen. He's thinking that everything's all good. But if I'm an officer and I see you getting close like that, hold up, what you doing? You trying to flank me or whatever? And it doesn't matter if you black or white. You know what I mean? It's like they're trying to go home to their people. They're trying to go home to their wife and kids and things like that. So when they get defensive like that, everybody's on the table to get got. Okay? I've been in these type of crowds. I've been to spring breaks where there's been riots and stuff like that. Anytime the police get on the march, anybody in their way is going to get got. Okay?
Was in this initial push where the Trump administration was just getting a lot of the plain facts and observable facts that Americans can see with their own eyes out. I mean, with Tom Homan coming in, it is interesting because, of course, Mr. Homan has his own ethical issues aside from this that he's addressed on this very program. He was caught up in this FBI sting operation, which involved a Calva bag filled with $50,000 in cash, allegedly.
And like I said, where's my $50,000 in cash? I could just can somebody send me $50,000? My cash app should be up here. Octavius Prime Wayne. Send me $50,000, okay? And then I don't have to report it to the government. I can like sit there and just be like, I don't feel like talking about that. Let me tell the IRS I don't feel like talking about $50,000 that just dropped in my lap. Cash. A bag. Okay? And everybody know about it. You know, this is some privilege like a motherfucker.
A part of this investigation. That investigation was shut down. Mr. Homan has denied any criminal wrongdoing, but, you know, on this very program, he danced around the question of what exactly happened to that $50,000 in cash that was involved.
All right, so let me go here. All right.
ICE could not be reformed.
So we're gonna end it how we started it, okay, guys? So this is what happened to Ilhan Omar, okay, Representative Ilhan Omar, okay. She's speaking. This is the House representative that was attacked. We don't know if it was a bioterrorist attack, chemical terrorist attack, but we'll assume that it will be a terrorist act, you know. So against a sitting government official.
It cannot be rehabilitated. We must abolish ICE for good. And DHS Secretary Kristi Noem must resign or face impeachment.
All right, so that's somebody squirted her with the stuff right there.
I don't know.
All right, I'm gonna try to get it from a different angle. We saw that. I'm gonna let this play through. I'm gonna get to the point where she's like, go to the point where you can see where she's like, they're telling her to leave, and she's standing there.
Here is the reality that people.
Well, I want y'all to watch her hand, and if you're on your cell phone, like someone said, they're on their cell phone, their toilet watching me. Make sure you subscribe while you're on your toilet, okay, and wash your hands, okay. But anyway, I want y'all to observe her hand with the pen in it. You see that she's shaken by the situation, and she's a woman at the end of the day. Okay, getting a surprise attack is scary for anybody. Like somebody try to sucker punch you or do anything, but someone's squirting you with some substance. God knows what it is. It could be anything. It could be some disease, whatever. It could be urine. It could be anything. This guy could be a freak where he's been fantasizing about this lady. You know what I mean? Whatever.
People like this ugly man don't understand. We are Minnesota strong.
So look at her hands, y'all. I want you to look at her hands. She's shaking.
And we will stay resilient in the face of whatever they might throw.
All right, so she's shaking. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to look for the video of the full video. I had a better angle. It was a way better angle I had of it. So let me get that for you guys. Okay, let me get that for you guys.
Tensions remain high.
Let me see if this is it. Okay.
Representative Ilhan.
Boom, boom, boom.
Town hall event in Minneapolis, moments after Democratic Congresswoman Ilhan Omar called for abolishing ICE. A man attacked her with an unknown.
All right, so there's a better angle of it. I had it. That's how I even got the screenshot. So let me see if I can. I'll show y'all this though. You can see the man's face. This is a different angle of the video.
Substance.
And DHS Secretary Kristi Noem must resign or face impeachment. I need a napkin to know nothing.
The man was tackled, his arms tied behind his back, and Congresswoman Omar continued with the town hall after he was escorted from the room. Her call for Kristi Noem's firing is among many.
Kristi Noem is a liar. She's vicious. She's also incompetent. Donald Trump must fire her at once before another American is killed under her watch.
Even Republican Senators Tom Tillis of North Carolina and Lisa Murkowski of Alaska say Noem should be out of a job after Saturday's killing of 37-year-old ICU nurse Alex Pretti. The Department of Homeland Security now telling Congress that based on a review of body camera footage, ICU nurse Alex Pretti. The Department of Homeland Security now telling Congress that based on a review of body camera footage, 2 federal officers fired shots. Noem said Pretti brandished a gun and acted violently towards officers. But cell phone video from the scene shows he never unholstered the gun he was legally carrying. An officer appeared to take it off of him before shots were fired.
I don't like that he had a gun. I don't like that he had 2 fully loaded magazines. That's a lot of bad stuff. And
oh, okay. Y'all could hear me, so let me go back. I'm doing OBS, so it's a little different. All right, so let's go back. I want you to hear this.
Should be out of a job after Saturday's killing of 37-year-old ICU nurse Alex Pretti. The Department of Homeland Security now telling Congress.
So it looks about maybe 6 guys are on Alex right there. Like I said, when officers come along, they'll grab you by one arm, they'll grab you by another arm, they'll grab your hand, they'll grab this hand. You know, one grabbing you by the head or whatever, or your legs or whatever. So they just grabbing, and then the thing is, especially as a man, your testosterone kicks in, your adrenaline kicks in, and then you want to kind of rebel. While you down, they're like putting their knees on your back or your shoulder blades, all right? And if you ever see the officer, sometimes they'll be reaching for something to either get the cuffs, or that sometimes if they feel like you're resisting, they'll hit you with a taser, mace, or whatever, or you may get shot. In his case, he got shot. So one of them probably saw a gun, or he reaching for a gun type thing. Adrenaline pumping, all the men there, adrenaline pumping. Bam, bam, bam. You know, all I need to hear is gun. And one of them pulling out the gun, bah, 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 bah. You know, like the thing about it, a lot of people are scared. People be scared, okay? A lot of this stuff is out of fear, okay? You know, adrenaline and fear. So if you have a chance to back up from an officer, just back up. You know, don't get in their way. Don't try to and I want y'all to understand, ICE is a law enforcement agency. So if If you are coming in, ICE don't think I'm American. You can't do nothing to me. That's for them illegals. That's for them illegals. Well, they done took two America. They took white Americans, a woman and a white man. You know what I'm saying? All Americans out. Middle America out. Took them out. All right. So the thing is, in their head, they think I want to go. They don't want to get hurt. They want to like. I'm just being pro. Just from their perspective. Okay. They don't want to get hurt. I have few law enforcement people in my family. One of my friends, my best friend is a law enforcement agent. And one of the things about it is they want to go home to their family and they feel like you any kind of threat, you got to let them know I'm not no threat. I'm just here to do my thing or whatnot. That's just what it is. So, but when they grab you, it's going to be about 4 or 5.
Based on a
There's about 6 or 7 on now that I'm looking. 1, 2, 3. I think it's a guy down here. This guy over here. Maybe at least 6 or 5 or 6 officers that's on top of him. And that's how they take you down.
View of body camera footage, 2 federal officers fired shots. Nome said Pretti brandished a gun and acted violently towards officers. But cell phone video from the scene shows he never unholstered the gun.
Oh, you say... Someone said, men said, my husband is a first responder. All of this terrifies me, especially the doxing. I want him to come home. And I understand that. I think that should be illegal. The doxing of, I think in Florida, the doxing of first responders is illegal. So let me pull that out and we'll ask the AI about that. But I know for a fact, if you're a cop, a judge, or something like that, you being doxxed is illegal. It's a felony.
Hello, Octavius.
Okay, I'm live right now. We want to ask a question whether or not doxing a officer or first responder in Florida is illegal.
So here's the scoop. In Florida, there's no specific law that strictly said doxing in and of itself is illegal. The term doesn't actually appear on the books, but if you dox someone like a police officer or first responder and it leads to harassment or fear for their safety, you're likely crossing into other legal territory. Florida's laws on cyber stalking or harassment can come into play here. If you intentionally pull someone's personal information with the aim of causing them distress, fear, or harm, that could be considered cyber stalking under Florida Statute 784.048. And there's a new bill in the works that will make it even clearer that intentionally posting someone's personal details to cause harm can lead to legal action. In short, yeah, it's a bit of a legal gray zone, but definitely something.
All right, so we got that. I wanted y'all to understand that, yeah. But, yeah, they have laws on the books for most first responders, judges, prosecutors, where their address is protected. So I have law enforcement in my family, and I've been doxxed many times online. And they find out where someone lives, they could do some hellified, they could get some real trouble.
He was legally carrying. An officer appeared to take it off of him before shots were fired.
I don't like that he had a gun. I don't like that he had 2 fully loaded magazines. That's a lot of bad stuff. And despite that, I say that's a very unfortunate.
President Trump and administration officials are feeling the backlash from Second Amendment.
Now, someone was saying I don't know about Palm Beach. I live in West Palm Beach. I live 4 miles away from Mar-a-Lago. I worked in Palm Beach. Majority of my first job was in Palm Beach. And when I first got out of high school, I worked in construction. My dad did construction. He worked at Mar-a-Lago, did some of the moldings and the ceiling and some of the other areas in Mar-a-Lago or whatnot. And Donald Trump, you used to see him like in the 90s. Sometimes he would be going down Southern Boulevard. Over there, they have what's called Gun Club, and he owns the golf course right next to the jail. So you would see him sometimes. I think it's a picture of him at one of the Texacos on Southern Boulevard where he used to go get gas all the time. So, but anyway, at Mar-a-Lago, the reason why I bring that up, he was talking about guns. He don't like people having guns. I was working as one of the people that like map out the gas lines before they do any digging. So they have to have, like, in Florida, you got to get a permit to dig. Okay, any form of digging or construction, first you got to get whether the sewer lines, gas lines, and everything got to be mapped out. So there's an area south of Mar-a-Lago on Ocean Avenue where the same road where his residence is. There's a street. It's not on Google Maps, but it goes right up into a little area, like a little circle area. If you stop on that street, and I'm in a white vehicle, you know what I'm saying? In a white vehicle for the gas company, and here they come, these dudes in a black van and a black SUV coming up with 45s. You know what I mean? These were not 9mm. No, these were 45. Okay? 45 ACPs on their side. You know, fully right there. You can fully see it. And I had to go to do work in that area a couple of times. And I had to get facials. They had to do facial recognition on me. And everything. I had to get an iPad. I had to do facial recognition before I could come in there. Now, they already know that I'm coming. And then they had to escort me with an armed guard escorting me with a 45 ACP 1911 on its waist. Okay. And they were not police officers. I don't know what they were. Okay. So, and if you go in front of you, sometimes you ride in front of Mar-a-Lago, you'll see guys. This is when he was out of office. You see guys with AR-15s, dudes on the roof like you see at the White House if you've ever been there. You know what I'm saying? Moving around and stuff like that. Snipers and some more shit at Mar-a-Lago. Okay? So, I find it funny for a super rich and protected people to talk about how, like, regular people can't have guns. Okay? He shouldn't have had a gun. He shouldn't have this. All right, so I'm going to rewind that and we'll...
And despite that, I say that's a very unfortunate.
President Trump and administration officials are feeling the backlash from Second Amendment advocates for that take as the president switches up leadership of immigration enforcement in Minneapolis, sending border czar Tom Homan to take over. Homan writing on X that he met with Governor Tim Walz and Mayor Jacob Frey, saying, "We all agree that we need to support our law enforcement officials and get criminals off the streets. While we don't agree on everything, these meetings were a productive starting point."
This out. There's another one coming in. I don't know if things are going to change or not. I doubt it, the way this year has gone.
House Democrats are threatening to move forward with impeachment proceedings if Noam isn't fired. Congresswoman Robin Kelly says 3/4 of House Democrats have signed on to her.
Oh, you made a great point. Rittenhouse was underage with a long gun. It was illegal for him to have the gun. Hey, remember, a lot of people were pro. Oh, remember? Yeah, I think Donald Trump was pro Rittenhouse, wasn't he? Yeah, he was pretty much speaking his praises and shit, right? And Alex was concealed and legal, right? So we're going to play Ilhan Omar one more time, and I'm going to call it a night. I thank y'all for coming out so y'all can see what happened with that. So she got sprayed with some substance. We don't know what's going to be in the substance, so that's going to be something to see. I wish I had that angle that I had in the thumbnail, but I think I lost it, right? And she looked like she was ready to fight somebody at that. All right. Okay, this is it right here. This is actually the angle I had. Okay, this it. This it. This it right here. All right, so check it out. It happens really quick, so I'm about to slow it down. So a lot of y'all learn how to use YouTube looking at me. So we're going to do it at 25 speed. It happened really fast. So this is Ilhan Omar getting squirted with this substance. It looks white or whatever it is. He had it in a syringe, so he squirted it from a syringe. So who knows if there's some bio shit or whatever that this man putting on this lady, and she want to continue doing this. So I'll let this play out. I'm gonna play it in real time one more time.
Her attacker is facing third-degree assault charges tonight. This comes amid weeks of heightened tensions in Minnesota.
And it also
He's facing third degree assault charges, and I guarantee you it's gonna be some federal charges come down on that shit. Like, especially if it's like some like bioterrorist, chemical terrorist shit, you know. But anyway, y'all, thank y'all so much for coming through. I'm gonna end it on that. He said he was already proven to be innocent. Now you're making up BS to cope. Okay, what did I make up? What did I make up? I don't know if y'all talking to each other.
comes as the Trump administration appears to be changing its immigration strategy there. WGN's Jenna Barnes is here now with more on tonight's developments.
A lot of developments coming out of Minneapolis tonight on the assault of Representative Omar. She says she is okay, and a man now charged with third-degree assault for using a syringe to spray her with a liquid that reporters in the room described as smelling like vinegar. At a town hall event in Minneapolis, moments after Democratic Congresswoman Ilhan Omar called for abolishing ICE, a man attacked her with an unknown substance.
It's always one of them guys that always look greasy and shit. Like, you know, always want to be, like, he probably think he's some kind of saving America ass motherfucker. Like, this is the motherfucker that's supposed to save America, y'all. Like, this motherfucker right here. Like, this mother, you tell this dude doesn't look like he's like watched a shitload of porn, you know what I'm saying, and probably been fantasizing about Ilhan Omar and all kinds of shit, you know what I'm saying, and now his day has come. I mean, he just looked dingy, dirty, you know what I'm saying, look at his man boobs and shit, you know what I mean, only thing bro got going is his hairline. He's probably like 26 years old at that, okay? And looking like he's like at least goddamn 56. Okay, got the dad bod going on, all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Look like he got some gym pants on, just looking dusty and tired. His jacket is raggedy as fuck, and right now he's feeling like he's motherfucking Captain America, saving America against Ilhan Omar and all the shit, and the left wingers. And all that, you know what I mean? He don't know he doesn't know whether he wants to love or hate Ilhan Omar. You know what I'm saying? I can guarantee you if they go in his house and check out his computer, Ilhan Omar is up there and done got all kind of AI pictures of her laid up, busted and open, and all kinds of shit. And probably some white supremacist, white power shit or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, he just gives like a geek, a loser, a dusty, a weirdo. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, you know you're going to go to jail. You could at least shave and look like you washed your ass, you know what I'm saying, before you go to jail, and try to look as handsome as possible with the 3 chin having motherfucking ass. Okay? But, shit. But these are the motherfuckers these always the weirdos think they're going to save America. They're going to save America by doing some weird shit.
Known substance.
And DHS Secretary Kristi Noem must resign or face impeachment. I need a napkin to know nothing.
The man was tackled, his arms tied behind his back, and Congresswoman Omar continued with the town hall after he was escorted from the room. Her call for Kristi Noem's firing is among many.
Kristi Noem is a liar.
All right,
she's vicious. She's also incompetent. Donald Trump must fire her at once.
We're not going to recycle the same content, so thank y'all so much for coming out. And who cares why you're not? I'm at work right now. I get paid for this. Okay. I get paid for this. Okay. Right. I get paid for this. Right? This is a monetized channel, if you don't know. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for coming through. I appreciate y'all. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We'll be back. And I will be doing some roasting and also some political commentary as well. Hopefully I don't get in no trouble and people in the black vans will come snatch my ass up. Okay? But I greatly enjoyed you guys and your company. You know what I mean? At 3 in the morning. Appreciate you. All right? Good morning.